This is my Blue Ridge Parkway and Skyline Drive video, and my route down from my house just outside of DC to my starting point in southwestern Virginia.
Okay, so here we are. This is leg one of day one of my Montgomery County, Maryland to southwestern Virginia 2-day ride. I'm going to a town in southwest Virginia called Rapine, R-A-P-H-I-N-E, I believe is how it's spelled. And just starting out, we are literally on mile one. It is October 6th. It's, 9:42 in the morning. Bike is full. So am I. I got my stuff on the back. We'll be doing obviously multiple segments throughout the course of the next 2 days, day and a half, 2 days, or whatever. Right now it's kind of foggy out, so it's not going to be really great. Nothing great to see, but you know what? It is the beginning, or around here in central Maryland, of the leaf season, so there should be some nice views. The whole point of this trip, really, and I'll probably say this a couple times, is to get myself down to Skyline Drive and then the Blue Ridge, I guess starting with the Blue Ridge Parkway. I won't be able to get to do all the Blue Ridge Parkway, but at least do the northern end of the Blue Ridge Parkway and then Skyline Drive from southwestern Virginia. And I know it's not Roanoke, it's well north of Roanoke, but just a general perspective of what we're talking about. From that neck of the woods back to Montgomery County, Maryland. All right, kind of excited. Here we are, just about in the northern tip of Montgomery County. I'm Route 28. This first leg is going to be from my home up to Harper's Ferry. So really the route is Route 28 up to, southern Frederick County, then I cut across through Point of Rocks and Brunswick onto 340, and then 340 into Harper's Ferry. And then from there I'll be on to, I think it's Winchester. But leg one is to Harper's Ferry. And this is Dickerson right here, cute little town, Route 28. We are maybe about a mile south of leaving Montgomery County. Still overcast. Dude in the car in front of me has got a dog that keeps barking at me every time we come to a stop. Thankfully there's not a whole lot of stops in this road. I'll watch what'll happen again. Well, I don't know if he's going to be stopped long enough with the stop sign. You know the dog's going to go crazy. Or not. Still in Frederick County, coming up on one of my favorite bridges. This thing looks like it could fall down at any second. It is old. It is a classic example of infrastructure in the United States not being maintained. But it's an old trestle bridge, and I do like it. It's kind of cool. I'm guessing with all the lights that they got going up, that maybe they are planning on doing some major overhauls on it. Shutting down one lane and making it in one direction only, using the lights. So here we are coming over the bridge, 340 bridge over the Potomac River. Potomac River. See up there, you can't even see the top of that hill. And there's Potomac. Sweet. The other way down the Potomac. Can't do that one so far because I can't bend my eyes back and see where I'm driving if I'm turning the camera to the left. You can see the colors are starting to change in the trees just a little bit. And now we are in Virginia. We'll be in Virginia for just a little bit. This is that little piece of land You got the rivers on one side, because the Shenandoah's up here. You got the rivers on one side. You got 3 states: Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. See if I can't turn myself to the right and pan down the river. You see that? And up the river. So this is the Shenandoah, actually, and just to the right is the confluence of those 2 rivers. We're getting out and about. That's kind of cool. Get outside, people. Get off your couches. Get away from your PlayStations. So this is definitely Virginia horse country. So we come back from West Virginia into Virginia. I think it must be Loudoun County here. Fields of what probably is, I don't know, soybeans. This is beautiful country in this northern Virginia, west of DC. In Winchester now. This time I'm going to not blast the mic by opening my screen a little bit. I think I did all the previous ones with the screen down. I didn't even realize it. But anyway, downtown Winchester, Virginia. I even think we may be considered Old Town here, but I'm not sure. Kind of neat, kind of nice. I have no clue who that is. No, it's George Washington. Of course, George Washington slept everywhere. I think maybe that means we're recording. I don't really know. West of Winchester. There you go. Try it like that. I'm having to adjust my visor. Oh, that train track goes. Having to adjust my visor to make sure that I get the appropriate amount of air circulation, as well as not a lot of reverberation from my voice. That would overpower the mic. I know, exciting. So here we are. So we're leaving really sort of, if I may be so bold as to call it, metropolitan Winchester, Virginia, which also sort of, in my mind, designates leaving the metropolitan Washington, D.C. Radio stations get out here, TV stations, broadcasts, and terrestrial gets out here. Seeing ads for the elections and Barbara Comstock and Jennifer Waxman, hear them both on the DC stations. So yeah, this is the westernmost periphery, in my mind, at least, of Washington D.C., SMA, SMSA, statistical metropolitan area. Still on 50 here. I turned the camera back on because, voila, it's the first sightings of blue skies and sun. Pretty cool. Finally got out of the fog bank, and maybe it's, we may be getting into a higher elevation here. I mean, it stands to reason we would be. It may not be significant, but at least it is a little higher, I think, I'm pretty sure. According to Google Maps also, my turn here, I believe is on Route 259, is up here in less than 2 miles. There's our turn, Route 259. This is it. Oh my God. Well, this is the route I'm at. At least the speed limit is 55. Alright, 259. I don't know where I think. I was about to say, I think we're back in West Virginia. But I'm honestly not sure. We're close. If we're not there, we're close. If we're past it, we're close to it, just passing it. So, on 259, I feel like we're sort of up country. I'm making that term up. If these people haven't used it yet, I'm using it for them. So I think we're in Warrensview, West Virginia. Thanks. Cool. Hamlet. Basically at a crossroads. It's got all the necessities. Pizza parlor, gift shop, cows. I just now entered George Washington State Forest, in wherever we are in West Virginia. Haven't quite got to Route 40 yet. So still on 259. So we're in Moorfield, West Virginia. I haven't seen a U.S. Cellular in a gazillion years. Look at that. So I'm on 220 South in West Virginia. I've been talking all along. It's Moorfield. Looks like a big bakery here. Pilgrims Bakery. It's supposed to be the Moorfield River. Moorfield River Walk. Okay, so here I am, Smoke Hole Road. It's apparently, Smoke Hole is apparently some sort of historical landmark in West Virginia here. Right behind the camera is a river with an old trestle bridge that's been deactivated. It's still there, and the new other bridge. But anyway, so I'm in, I think, Smoke Hole, West Virginia on 220. I just taken a break to stretch my legs. Get off the bike for a bit. And I'll turn the camera around now just so you can see what I'm looking at. So I'm not even sure where I am. I do know I'm south of Smoke Hole, West Virginia. This is kind of a scenic road that I'm on. It's 220, but right next to me is a pretty sizable, I don't know, it's not a river, but not a stream. It's bigger than a stream and a creek, but it's probably smaller than the river. I don't know what you call it. Maybe it is a river. Kind of cool though. Still on 220 South, West Virginia. Still paralleling this, I'm going to call it a river now, this river. Perfect road for this kind of biking. And there really is so little traffic. impressive. So totally cool. Sounds like Fancy Gap. Corporate limits.
Here we are where I'm spending the night tonight. Drove down from Montgomery County, Maryland to Raphine, Virginia. I came down those various roads as you saw. The long one was 220. I spent about an hour and 40 minutes on that. It felt like longer. But that was also the most scenic. It really was well worth the drive. I hope tomorrow's Blue Ridge and Skyline Drives are as good. Anyway, so this is the place I'm staying at. It's an Airbnb. The red building at the top is the barn of this farm. Yeah, I'm on a farm, and that's where the owner and manager of the cottages stays. That's where she lives, Marie. There are 3 guest cottages. You can see parts of 2 of them on the left, and then I am on the right in the green roofed spring house. There's actually a gazebo sort of in front of it visually, but that's not really part of the house. Mine is the green roof with a chimney. So clearly horsing is a lot of the things that goes on here in the introduction, on the paperwork on the inside. One of the pets they described being okay was horses, and that they have stalls or stables or something like that for them. So there's another shot of the barn, the main barn, where I think the Marie's apartment is. And then that structure, which I'm not even sure what that is. This is day 2. My ride up the parkways, up the spine. There's my route from my starting point to home. And look at what I woke up to, just spectacular that morning. So here I am, actually going up one of the small mountains, big hills, small mountains, I'm not sure what you want to call it. A lot of switchbacks to get up to where I got onto the Blue Ridge Parkway. Just one side note, my tube camera, my Prism tube, which is the camera I have on my helmet, decided to stop working that day, so I had to shoot everything with my handheld GoPro, so you'll see a little bit more shakiness, and that's why I'm having to do this narrating right now, post-production. But it is what it is, and I made the best of the cards I was dealt, the hand I was dealt. So anyway, here I am getting on the Blue Ridge Parkway itself, It is about, I got on with about 20 miles to go. It certainly goes farther south than when I got on, but I got on with about 20 miles to go north as I was going north. So everything in the rest of this video on both the Blue Ridge Parkway and Skyline Drive, if it's left, you're looking west. If it's right, you're looking east. Got there about 10 o'clock in the morning. Sun was still pretty low, so when I did look east, there was some washed out, but nonetheless, it was still a spectacular sight to see. Now that's looking west, so the sun was behind me, so that was really even cooler. And speaking of cool, being that we were up at about 2,500 to 3,500 feet, the temperature was well off, and it was a really, really perfect temperature to be driving on these two roads, the Parkway and Skyline Drive. Now I'm looking west again. One of the benefits of the camera is being able to turn it backwards. And these roads are just perfect for this kind of driving, especially on the Blue Ridge Parkway. There weren't a whole lot of cars out. Maybe it was just the time of day. I had pretty much the road to myself, although I will say there were a ton of motorcycles and a ton of bicyclers out as well. So, and then when we got to the Skyline Drive, me and my bike got to the Skyline Drive, the whole place was packed. It's a park that charges to get in too, so the motorcycle was $25, but the whole place was packed. But here on the Blue Ridge Parkway, it was just perfect. The time of day was perfect. The conditions were perfect. It was just really quite spectacular, and I'm sure I'll be overusing the word spectacular and amazing this entire narration, but it really was. It lived up to all the hype. This is near the end of the parkway. One of the things that's important to know about the Blue Ridge Parkway is that it is and can be a dangerous road. There can be lots of rock falls, rock slides, icy roads in the winter. And one of the things that the National Park Service does, in reaction to all that, is that they have set up or set up the whole parkway into multiple sections. Each of those sections has an entrance gate. And these entrance gates are all over the Blue Ridge Parkway. They really are. And it's a good idea. So it allows the Park Service to shut down various sections. But it's one of the things that's important to know. If it's a good time of year, the whole road is going to be open. But if it's a bad time of year, you might want to call ahead to see if the whole thing is open or if there are various sections, and that might adjust your itinerary and the plans that you make. But anyway, this is what those gates look like. On either side. And this is pretty standard, and then they both close and meet at the middle, and that's how they close off sections of the Blue Ridge Parkway. All right, continue on. So that was the end of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and now the rest of the video is going to be Skyline Drive. And you can tell also by the surface here, this is much more new surface blacktop, whereas the Blue Ridge Parkway was the more gray, a little bit older. You can tell it's a couple of years older than the surface. And that last shot looking left, west. And even the beginning parts of Skyline Drive, there were a whole lot of people on, and it was just, perfect slaloming roads, perfect for the bike, for me driving that bike, my CB 1100. Speed limit was like 35. It was 45 on the Blue Ridge Parkway, 35 on Skyline Drive. And unfortunately, there were enough people on Skyline Drive who thought 35 was too fast. So there were parts where it was going kind of slow, but right here, no problems, no delays, and it was just absolutely perfect. So a westerly shot, followed by an easterly shot. On Skyline Drive, on one of the many overlooks, all of them look a lot like this. Pretty amazing, quite beautiful. Another westerly shot. Looking east and the sun is higher, so it's not as washed out in the video, and here comes the swivel elbow. I can't believe I was able to turn the camera around almost 180 degrees. So this is the high point. This is the meadows, 3,600 feet, whereas the rest of it, and it really was like somewhere between 25 and 3,500 square feet, still nice and high, kept the humidity off, and it was a humid day down at sea level. And I got back down there a little bit later in the day, but this was just perfect. Sun was warm, but as you're driving through it, the air was nice and cool. So again, ideal conditions for this kind of a bike ride. I am coming up on the only tunnel that there was, and I'm glad I was able to pull out my GoPro fast enough for the video. This was because it's kind of cool. Like you're shooting, you're like a bullet coming out of a cannon. And this is one of the sections where I got behind some of those slow drivers, and there were places where you could pass them safely, and you had the dotted lines, but those unfortunately were few and far between, and there were some significant periods of time where I was going like 30 miles an hour, which was a little bit frustrating, but hey, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It was just that spectacular. Here we are looking west again, and really it was just like every time you got to a vista like this, it was better than the one before. And here I am leaving. That's the northern extent, or northern entrance.